What if I told you that everything you've been told about success is slightly wrong? Most people think the secret ingredient is motivation. Find your why, get fired up, stay inspired. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say out loud: motivation is actually one of the least reliable tools you have. And today, I am going to share a story that completely changed how I think about building a life worth being proud of. Before we get into it, ask yourself this honest question. How many times have you watched a video, read a book, or listened to a podcast that left you feeling absolutely unstoppable, ready to conquer the world, only to find yourself back in the exact same patterns 3 days later? If you've experienced that cycle, you're not alone, and you're not broken. You've just been building on the wrong foundation. Meet a young man named Ethan. He lived in a quiet little town, but his dreams were anything but small. He wanted to achieve something meaningful, something that would matter. So naturally, he did what most of us do. He consumed content, motivational speeches, success stories, interviews with accomplished people. Every morning, he'd fill himself up with inspiration and tell himself that today was the day everything would change. But here's what kept happening. The energy would peak, then fade. Within a couple of days, the old habits crept back in. The excuses returned. The couch became more comfortable than the desk. And each cycle of trying and falling back made him feel worse than before, not because he lacked talent or intelligence, but because motivation kept running out exactly when he needed it most. Then one afternoon, Ethan ran into his friend Ben. Something about Ben was different. He wasn't dramatic about his goals. He didn't talk about being inspired or fired up. He just quietly showed up every single day. He woke up early. He studied when scheduled. He exercised on the days he planned to exercise. Not because he always felt like it, but because it was simply what he did. Ethan was genuinely puzzled. He asked Ben directly how he maintained that level of consistency. Ben's answer was surprisingly simple. He didn't rely on motivation. He built his life on discipline instead. Ethan wasn't fully convinced. So Ben invited him to the river the next morning before sunrise. There they found an old fisherman, someone whose hands told the story of decades of hard work. When Ben introduced Ethan, the fisherman looked out at the water and started talking. He explained that he came to that river every single morning without exception, rain, cold, heat. It didn't matter. Some mornings he caught a lot, some mornings he caught very little, some mornings he went home with nothing. But he never skipped a day, not because he always felt passionate about fishing, but because it was his responsibility. His family depended on it. Waiting for the right mood or perfect conditions wasn't a luxury he could afford. Then the fisherman said something that stopped Ethan completely. He said motivation is like lightning. Brilliant for a second, then gone. But discipline is like a coal fire. It doesn't look as dramatic, but it burns steadily through the night, through the cold, through every season. He pointed toward a cluster of bamboo trees nearby and asked Ethan if he knew what they represented. He told the story of a farmer who planted a single bamboo seed and cared for it faithfully. He watered it daily. He tended the soil. He gave it everything it needed. 1 year passed. Nothing visible. 2nd year. Still nothing. 3rd year. 4th year. People in the village told him he was wasting his time, that something was clearly wrong. But the farmer kept showing up every day anyway. Then in the 5th year, over the course of just 6 weeks, the bamboo shot up to nearly 90 feet tall. What looked like years of failure was actually years of invisible preparation. The root system had been growing deep underground the entire time, building the strength necessary to support something extraordinary. The farmer's daily discipline wasn't wasted, it was being stored. Ethan felt something shift inside him at that moment. He realized he had been chasing lightning his whole life, looking for that electric feeling to carry him forward. But lightning doesn't build anything, foundations do. From that day, something genuinely changed. Ethan stopped waiting to feel ready. He built a simple daily routine and committed to following it regardless of how he felt on any given morning. Tired days, discouraging days, days when nothing seemed to be working. He showed up anyway, not perfectly, but consistently. Weeks became months, months built into years, and slowly, steadily, Ethan became someone he was proud of, not because of one big dramatic breakthrough, but because of 10,000 small ordinary choices made when motivation was nowhere to be found. When people eventually asked him about his success, he didn't give them some complicated strategy. He said the same thing every time: motivation visits occasionally. Discipline lives with you permanently. If you can do small things correctly every single day, enormous results become almost inevitable. Here's what I want you to take away from Ethan's story. You don't need to feel inspired to start. You need to start, and eventually that consistency creates its own kind of momentum. The bamboo doesn't apologize for 4 years of invisible growth. It just keeps building the roots it needs. Your daily habits are doing the same thing right now. Every time you choose discipline over convenience, you're adding to a foundation that nobody else can see yet. But one day, and I genuinely believe this, something in your life will grow 90 feet tall and everyone around you will wonder how it happened so fast. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop searching for the feeling. Build the routine. Trust the process. Show up tomorrow even when it's hard. Discipline doesn't guarantee easy days. It guarantees that the hard days don't stop you. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it right now, and drop a comment below telling me one small discipline action you're committing to starting today. I read every single one, and I'll see you in the next video.